at Walsall, there is a famous chant that goes, all the lads and lasses. From our experience, we try to be as inclusive as possible. However, not all football clubs are like that, which is where the Her Game Too movement, I think we can call it a movement, came from. Lucy is a co-founder of Her Game Too, and after Walsall's partnership with them today, we thought we'd have a chat, let the fans know a little bit more about what it is and how to get involved. So firstly, Lucy, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Lucy is a Bristol Rovers fan. We've decided that we're not going to talk about the game at all. Not one bit. So, Lucy, the partnership with Walsall announced today. You must be happy to get another club that have kind of backed the campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this is club number 19 now, which, considering we've only been set up for 4 months, is incredible. And obviously, thank you to Walsall for partnering with us, which is great to hear. It sounds like from what I was reading, I didn't have too much to do with that kind of negotiations. Each of us girls kind of do different clubs. We just kind of take on whichever clubs we want to. Kaz was doing this one. She's like the main founder. And it sounds like they're going to be having a game later this season dedicated to Her Game Too. So that's going to be really exciting. And I've done a piece as well, just kind of about the campaign and my experiences watching football. I think that's hopefully going in the next programme. I think that's when you play Salford City. So obviously you can give it a read my story, how I kind of became a gas head since I was 10. Well, when I was 10, I'm not 10 anymore, I'm 25. But yeah, no, it's been really great actually. Just seeing these clubs partner with us, want to do different things. Some are having advertising boards, some are putting bits in their programme, and just supporting the campaign whatever way they can, but also making kind of pledging really to make their football club a safe space for female fans and young girls and women to attend football games really.
So obviously the momentum is really growing now. There's more clubs coming on. Like you said, there's advertising boards. I believe that at Bristol Rovers, they've got the logo on the shirt. Is it, or is it on the women's kit?
Yeah, that's on we are the away kit sponsors for the women's team, which is amazing. Which was incredible. I mean, the community trust at Bristol Rovers have gone above and beyond to support us. And yeah, that was really, really early on. They came to us and said, we want to put you on our away kits at no cost to us, which was incredible. And I was really, really fortunate to be part of kind of like promoting that and doing the kit launch, which was really, really amazing experience for myself. But seeing the shirt in fruition I mean, I'm biased because obviously it's got, it's Rovers, it's got a logo, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's just one of the best shirts I've seen around, like men or women's shirt. I think it's amazing. But yeah, no, you can obviously have a look at that one online. Obviously they're called Bristol Rovers women's team. So yeah, you just have a look, or you can have a look on my Instagram. I'll put a picture of it on there as well.
So going back to when it kind of first launched, how long was the process to get kind of the brand, the campaign, the movement? I don't know how you want it to be defined.
Yeah, I guess we call it like a campaign. It's kind of become a bit of a movement as well. So Kaz came to me in April with this idea, but I guess the story really starts in January. Obviously, all of the girls, there's 12 girls involved, 12 co-founders. And we've all been watching football for a long time, and we've all experienced sexist abuse, whether it's online or in person. Kaz in particular had a really bad experience in January of this year. She just tweeted about a scoreline. I think Wickham had lost like 7-2 to Brentford or something. She just tweeted like laughing, like, this is weird, like, they should be in the championship or something, because they were losing every week, and and she's got friends who are Wickham fans, so it was really just poking fun at them. They do it all the time. They poke fun at each other, and it was really harmless. It wasn't hurting anyone. It was just, it was a bit of banter. Anyway, so the tweet got a lot of retweets and a lot of likes, and kind of, once it went viral, but it got onto a lot of people's timelines. And then it got onto people's timelines where they were saying really nasty things, like saying, like, get back to the kitchen, like, nothing about football because you're a woman, saying stuff about her weight and her looks, and it was horrendous. And she said that she literally has to like delete her Twitter account, lock down her account, but just because of the sheer amount of abuse that she was getting for just a harmless tweet. Like any of us have done. Like I compare it to when Villa played Liverpool and they won 7-2 and everyone was going like, what's going on here? Like Liverpool rubbish, like laughing at them. But like no one got someone saying, oh, like you shouldn't say that because you're, it didn't really get that sort of reaction. But for some reason, this tweet did. And it was just unacceptable, really. And anyway, she said to me like how it really affected her mental health. And she was worried people were going to find her other social media and like get in touch with her work. And I can get that. Like when people are saying those vile things to you, it does make you worry and paranoid. And yeah, so it was about April then. So she came to me and she was like, there's these great campaigns for racism and homophobia, like Kick It Out and Rainbow Laces. And she was like, oh, is there a campaign out there for sexism, like a well-known one? And I was sat there thinking, I was like, well, I don't know of one myself. And she said, well, why don't we do a video, with a few other girls? We've seen girls talk about their experiences a bit more recently that we knew, like through Twitter, and do a video highlighting our like experiences. And I was like, yes, absolutely. I could picture it straight away, which is kind of like how the video kind of came about. And so she spoke to the other 10 girls to see, if they wanted to be a part of it, and they all said yes. And it was really about 3 weeks. We kind of got together in Twitter group chat, just kind of discussed some ideas, how we wanted to do it, when we wanted to launch it. And yeah, it was kind of like a couple of like the night before we were going to put the video out, someone said, oh, why don't we just do like a Twitter, Facebook and Instagram account for it? And I was like, and we were like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. And then we can all build up to it on our own Twitter. So I remember it was the Friday night, someone, I think has probably set it up, and then we all put it on our own, because we all have quite a few followers between us. And yeah, so we tweeted it out saying, oh, look out, something big's coming, or something's coming tomorrow at 10 a.m. And by the time it got to Saturday at 10 o'clock, the page on Twitter got 500 followers, which is pretty decent. So we tweeted the video at 10 o'clock on Saturday, the 15th of May. I've got to get the date right. FA Cup final day. And yeah, it went viral. I mean, to the point that we had amassed 1 million views on that video on Twitter in 24 hours.
That's incredible.
Which is incredible, and we were immediately getting support from football clubs, journalists, news articles. Even in that first kind of 12-hour, 24-hour period, it was crazy.
I actually remember when it launched, because I went on my Twitter feed and follow obviously quite a few football clubs and fans from across. And you just were scrolling and you just saw this same video come in every single time. And it was like, wow, how long has this been going? And it was like the first tweet. It was amazing how quickly people backed it. And it showed the gap, like you said, that there are these other kind of campaigns for equality in different areas, but sexism, there was that gap that's now being kind of filled by yourselves. How did you first get a partnership with a club? Was it through Bristol Rovers going, we're season ticket holders, we know the club, we'd really like you to back it? How did that all go?
So initially we one of our first kind of big kind of aims was like, if we could get one club to partner with us or one club to put on our shirt, it meant everything to us. Because when we set up the campaign, I don't think we realized what sort of impact it was going to have, or we didn't know how it was going to react. We thought we might get 50,000 views on the video if we're lucky. So the 1 million was just crazy. So I think Rovers kind of reached out to us and Gateshead. So Gateshead were the very, very first club. But Rovers got in touch. Obviously, me and Kaz are both Gatesheads. And so we felt really, really privileged that they were the first like football league club to back us. And both the men's team and the women's team obviously did it in different ways, but still it meant a lot to us, because it showed that the club was really, really backing the campaign. and really, really believed in our message and really wanted to support it and actually make a difference. So they kind of reached out to us initially, and then after that we were like, well, let's see if there's other clubs out there that want to be a part of this or want to partner with us. So we kind of reached out via email, and it was just kind of looking on social media, seeing if we could find any contacts, and just doing it that way, just kind of drafted like an email to tailor it to each club, each person we could find. And so obviously from there, loads of clubs kind of got back in touch and was like, yes, we really like this, or this is how we partner. So we're having like Zoom calls, like team calls with the clubs, and just talking to them about the ideas. And it was just it was really nice kind of chatting to those different people, like saying how much is needed. Like some of them have been female employees. I know at Huddersfield actually put an article out about a couple of weeks after the video, just to put like their support for the campaign, and we weren't even in contact with them, like just like separately, and they've partnered with us now as well. And even that, I just thought that's massive. They're like a former Premier League club, and then I was like, wow, like this is so cool. And the supporter service manager at Huddersfield, Robin, she's been amazing, and she was one of the first people I was like, they've put this article out. I really think they want to partner with us, and they have. And I think they're doing something really exciting, because some clubs have like days related to International Women's Day, and they've done something for a few years. I think it's like Women in the Game Day or something like that, where they invite women down, and and so they can meet other women and go to the game together. And then some people, she said, that they've carried on going. I think that's just so lovely. But not just like, it's different people from different backgrounds. Like they had a few women from a refugee charity come along as well, and I thought that's just so nice, just to spread that message, that when we could go to football, they kind of sat them all together so they didn't feel alone, so that they could go together and enjoy the game. And they had like a social event before. I thought that's just so lovely. It's like, it was nice to hear that they've got those things already in place. It was just like having a partnership with us that even built it more, and it's becoming recognizable. And so that's really how we've kind of been contacting the club. So obviously Walsall club number 19, and we've been in contact with clubs. Even just today I've been speaking to clubs, and it's not just clubs in the Football League. There's I've been trying to reach out to a few women's teams as well, obviously in the Women's Championship and obviously the Super League. It would be amazing if we could get one of the Super League teams to partner with us, and Championship as well, because they're such a good level. They've got some brilliant players that we playing in the Euros, and with this summer, the Women's Euros is coming to England. I'm going to the opening game in Manchester myself and my friends, which I'm really excited about. I haven't been to loads of women's games. Like, I'll say that obviously I support a men's team, but I know myself, I'm making like a conscious effort to go. And when you do go, you actually like really enjoy it. I've been watching like the England ladies play the last couple of games. I think it was like World Cup qualifying, and they scored 8 goals and 10 goals respectively, and they've been absolutely brilliant. And the manager's like, well, it's only 10 goals, like they could score more. And I'm like, what? I know there's like the opposite. You might say, oh yeah, but they're playing Luxembourg. It's like, well, England men's team have played San Marino and won like 7-8-0 before, and no one really bats an eyelid. They're like, oh well, San Marino, we've beat them. But that they still deserve a lot of credit for that. And I really, really hope that this summer, like, everyone embraces the Euros like we did for the men's. And they could get some really big crowds, and I think there's nothing stopping the way women really doing well this year. Next year. I really, really think they could go far, and it'd be great if they're backed as much as the men are.
I mean, it feels like it is heading in that direction. I mean, the fact that games at Wembley, the ticket sales are obviously in non-COVID times are kind of growing, and to the point where matches like the men's are kind of almost going on tour around the country. So it's not just exclusive to people who can go to Wembley, which is really good. And I think one of the other big things as well, and I don't know whether I've noticed it more this season, but when you go on websites, media outlets, Twitter feeds, all of that, clubs are pushing and promoting their women's teams more. And it's becoming more of a big deal, that it is like, right, this is our Twitter feed, but it is for the whole club. That is
Yeah.
men's team, youth teams, development, and the women's teams, which I think, I don't know whether that's coincidental or whether clubs have looked at her game too and gone, yeah, we do need to up what we're doing here, because we aren't giving the airtime or the opportunity and the voice to our whole club.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And yeah, I feel like clubs are trying to make a conscious effort to like be like a one club. It shouldn't, obviously, there are, the youth teams, development team, and the women's team as well as the men's team, but it should be treated as like a one club kind of thing. And I think there are a couple of clubs out there that are trying to use that approach and actually be seen as one club, being seen as, I don't know, trying to think of a club on the top of my head that I know are trying to do that. Charlton Athletic, for example, I know that they've been trying to do a one club approach. I think there was an article about it in the paper a couple of weeks ago. I got sent it, and they're like, really trying to actively be seen as one club rather than just Charlton Athletic men and Charlton Athletic women, for example. And I think that's really good, and I think that's really, really important. And I think there's some clubs out there that are trying to. I think, like, for example, Eve, who's one of our co-founders, she went to go and watch Northampton Town women yesterday. We're obviously partnered with both of Northampton Town men and women, and they played at Sixfields, which is Northampton's ground. And I thought that's really good as well, that the women's team were playing at the men's ground. Obviously, I know the men play on a Saturday and the women play on a Sunday, which is just the way it is. But that's a really good step as well. That's a step in the right direction, that they're ground sharing. And they should be able to play at the same ground. They shouldn't have to play in a different ground to the men's team. They should be able to play in the same ground if they want to. I know that I think Exeter City women are also due to be playing a game at their at I can't name it, St James's Park, and I think Swindon Town women are due to be playing. I think they're actually due to be playing Exeter City at the county ground in the next couple of months. I saw on their Twitter recently, and that's really good to see. There's more and more clubs where they're really trying to show that they're being inclusive, which is a really good thing. And that's what you want. And I think some clubs are actually, if they're season ticket holders, they can get into like for free or like discounted at the women's game. And I think that's really good, because I think they should celebrate that, because there must be a gap. I think that's what we've noticed, is that, well, we've done a survey where there were lots of women who had taken part in it, and like the answers were really quite harrowing from the survey report, and we have shared that with the clubs, and I think they like stood up and took notice, and was like, wow, like there's going to be like quite a few women out here that have not wanted to attend games because of previous past experiences. But there must be a gap in there, because obviously there might be like a difference, like a balance in difference between the men and the women. But if you could get that balance to be more equal, the amount of women that could be able to come to games, like how much money the club's missing out on, how much money could the clubs make?
Yeah. And it's like you said, that the imbalance, it's how much is down to feeling comfortable coming to football matches, feeling included. Is that, if there's more in kind of inclusive days and that, will there be big changes? And it might not happen overnight, but the more it can slowly build, and clubs, I mean, I'm thinking obviously from a Walsall viewpoint on this, but the more that our lasses, as we call them, do feel comfortable coming to the ground, that you will see attendances starting to rise, and that's got to be good for the football club.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
good for everyone.
It's good for everyone. And and if and that's the thing, I think I feel like I've started to notice, I think, what doing the campaign, one thing that I found good was obviously seeing that dads sharing their daughters like playing football, and how much they enjoy watching them, and mate, and saying, this campaign, this is great for them growing up, like it's going to make it a better place for them, which is what we want. It's for the next generation. It's making that a man and a woman can stand next to each other and enjoy the game of football, because it is a universal game. It's a universal game with universal rules that's for everyone to understand. And so they can feel comfortable going and not have someone say to them they shouldn't be there. But yeah, and I've got a couple of friends out there. They said they took their sister to a game. I think one of my friends is a Wickham fan and took his sister to watch Wickham against Man City last week, and said it was her first game. I wasn't too sure how, I think she was like a little bit like younger than me, but she wasn't like, she's probably like in her 20s. And I said, oh, did she enjoy herself? And she said, yeah, loved it. So she wants to come again. I was like, well, that's amazing. I said, that's what you want to hear. I said, you want to, that's what's it about. It's about like bringing like your sisters, or if you're you know, a boyfriend wants to bring their girlfriend along, she might not like football, but you know, just to get that experience. And you know, not everyone has to like football, you know, it's just like embracing what it is. You know, my sister doesn't like football, and she's come a few times, but you know, it's not her sport. Whereas me, for example, I am football crazy, surprisingly enough.
What can Walsall fans do to support Her Game Too and get involved and kind of spread the word?
Yeah, so I don't know if the Salford game will be the first match, as an official match. It might just have the first one with stuff in the programme or things that are around on posters. Yes, the posters are going to be out, so look out for that. They'll be both in the home end and the away end, which has the logo and obviously the club badge, and also a number that if there are any instances in the ground of sexist abuse where female fans can contact the clubs and know that it will be followed up, and you know, they can report it safely. And we've also got a reporting form on our website as well. Our website's at www.hergame2.co.uk. And yeah, we've kind of set up the reporting form as well, because obviously not every club is partnered with us, but you know, we want to know if these instances are happening, and we want to follow up with these clubs, whether they're partnered with us or not, to know that, you know, it's not okay. Like, people should not be discriminated against because they're female. You know, they shouldn't be discriminated against anyway. Everyone's here to watch a game of football, but you know, so that these female fans know that they can report it, and you know, and feel comfortable to do so. On our website, it is done anonymously, or you can put your name and contact details as well, so we can follow up with the individual. Yeah, so obviously we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at Her Game Too. Obviously we love seeing when fans go into games, so I guess you can engage with us that way. You know, we've got hashtags as well on Twitter and Instagram, which is just Her Game Too. So yeah, we love seeing, like, whether it's a 70-year-old woman going to her first game, or a 6-year-old, whether a dad attending, like whatever game they're going to, you know, whether they're wearing a club shirt or going on a coach or a train, whatever mode of transport you want to use. Yeah, and yeah, it's just, you know, I guess on social media for other people, I would just say, you know, if you're seeing someone like a female fan, whether it's someone you know or someone you don't know, and they're getting sexist abuse for, you know, just tweeting their opinion, just, you know, call it out, and you know, just be an ally to those people, because people might say, oh, it's just easier to ignore it, but sometimes some people really need that support. And that's what we noticed when we set up the campaign. Yes, we have had people saying that we're making it up for attention or it doesn't happen, but this campaign has highlighted that it does happen, and it's happening still now. But you know, by, you know, working together and just looking out for each other, we can hopefully make it better for the next generation, and that's the most important thing, really.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice there. I think you're changing it for the generation now, not the next generation. With how far you've come in, what, 4 months?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you've already stamped Bigfoot and kind of, made yourselves loud and proud, and everyone is sort of there talking about it, and it's there, present, visible. 19 football clubs already kind of in partnership, and there is no doubt more in the pipeline. I think that's changing it now, not for the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nice hearing it put that way. And yeah, I guess, you know, we didn't know what the impact was going to be when we set it up, and I really hope that things are going to change, not only for the short term but for the long term as well. And like you said, I really hope we are starting to see that change. I definitely do find there is a bit of a change. Hopefully, well, happening on social media. I am seeing more people call it out, which isn't easy to do. You know, I respect those people that are standing up for the girls who, like, you know, like myself, like to tweet, and that if they're getting unwarranted abuse for no apparent reason, actually saying, you know, this isn't okay. Like, don't say those things. Like, that's really unacceptable. But it's good. I mean, I am, on a personal level, I'm really, really proud of this campaign. You know, when we went into it, like I said, I didn't know what sort of impact we have. And, you know, when you see people out and about and going to games and people are coming up to you, and before I'd be a bit nervous, like people come up to me and say hi and I didn't know them, I'll be like, oh God, like what they're going to say. And it's been all positive in person, and that's really lovely. Like, as you know, we were in the queue on Saturday, just getting a drink before the game, and these guys came up to us, Rovers fans, said, oh, you know, what you're doing is really good. And I think that kind of drums at home when there's people that don't even know you that are seeing the campaign, and they're seeing the impact that it's having on themselves or their family members or young, you know, and they're like, oh, you know, they want to bring their, you know, their daughters along. And I think that's really, really important. It's really nice to hear as well.
Good. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for kind of explaining more about it and kind of giving us all the opportunity to learn more about what it is. And hopefully in the future, we can get you back on to hear more about how it's all going. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'll definitely be more than welcome to come back on, and maybe we can have a conversation about football as well.
We'll wait until Walsall win, and then we'll do it the day after that.
Okay.
All right. Lucy, thank you everyone for watching, and please go and give her game 2 a follow and support.